Why are you here? How much longer until you realize that your life is slipping away through your fingers, one video at a time? Perhaps you will have already skipped this one. Academic research from Harvard Medical School found evidence that the social network addiction is shrinking our gray matter, shortening attention spans, weakening memory, and distorting our cognitive processes. It has become impossible to go to the cinema without seeing people using their phones during the movie. It has become difficult to watch a 2-minute video without losing concentration. ADHD cases are increasing uncontrollably. We are becoming dumber, more anxious, more depressed. Dopamine addiction has stripped us of the magic of being alone with our thoughts, gazing at the sky in silence, and finding reward in boredom. What are you going to do about it for yourself? Keep scrolling.
What's up, folks? It's RD here, once again coming at you with more unwatchable content. And in today's video that nobody is going to watch, we're going to be talking about digital dependency, the addictions you never knew about. Although I'm sure some of you may be very aware that social media and certain social media platforms do cause an awful lot of symptoms awfully close and resembling that of addictions associated with drug use, or perhaps the overuse of alcohol. But unlike substance abuse, there is no real conscious effort to actually participate in digital dependency. Almost everybody in the world these days seems to be attached to a device as really throughout the day as much as possible, and there are very little periods of time that individuals spend separated from their devices. It's like the last thing at night, first thing at morning anybody does is either reach for their device or set their device down before they embark on their daily slumber. But digital addictions or digital dependency all stem from the stimulation from the screen and the reward system that social media platforms use, dopamine. And people have become very, 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 very unawarely, inadvertently dependent on dopamine as their daily feel-good factor. And you know, if you are somebody who, you know, goes into a bar or goes into a liquor store and picks up a 6-pack or a bottle of something, you know you're making a conscious decision to purchase and consume something that does potentially hold the you know, the dangers and risks of becoming an addictive substance that can be very life-altering, as is the case, you know, if you go and buy some black market narcotics down an alleyway, you do understand and are making a conscious choice to make, you know, to take a substance that is potentially addictive and deadly to yourself. But unlike that, social media is something that is targeted at everybody, and almost everybody is connected to social media. And over a course of years, the internet has been reduced into several social media platforms where sort of search engines these days are almost obsolete, and many people just pick up their phone every day, open up their few various applications, be that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as it was formerly known, X as it is going by these days, and more importantly, TikTok, which seems to have been the app of all apps that has sort of taken, you know, everybody's attention by storm, or almost everybody. There are some people that are immune to its effects, although not exactly, you know, it's unavoidable. TikTok appears on almost every single application. It's like embedded itself within other apps like a virus. It's you know spread and multiplied and infected many platforms, and many platforms in efforts to compete with TikTok have become clones of TikTok. In particular, you know, YouTube now runs and promotes short videos more than it promotes the other videos. Facebook has reels or stories. Instagram is known for short form videos. Snapchat was also a very quick, see it and it's gone type of application. But TikTok has the motherlode of all algorithms that sort of tailor-made and specifically designs contents and news feeds and video reels for a personal individual's tastes or personal beliefs, and they will do that and provide them with an endless stream of relevant content to that individual in order to keep them engaged and attached to their screen as much as possible, and in particular on that applications, as applications do seem to compete with each other for our attention span. And the attention economy is something we'll probably have to look into another day, but the attention economy is much more valuable to corporations, governments and industry than things such as pharmaceuticals or oil is one of or even precious metals for that matter, as many of the sort of things that people account as being valuable commodities. But our attention is the most valuable commodity, and many social media apps have taken advantage of our commodities and have stolen our attention away. But what effects and damages are these social media platforms, and in particular things like short form videos and memes, having on the minds of the people that are using them, just as substance has effects on the minds of those particular users that are sort of very commonly known or made aware of. We're going to look today at a few articles and some videos as always, as well as a couple of recently conducted medical and scientific surveys into the damaging effects of short form videos and memes and
all right,
that these
take care now. Bye then.
The masses, and in particular the minds of the young people who seem to be more dependent on technology than maybe some of those older folks among us that do tune in and watch RD regularly. So for you regular offenders who have tuned in, the time to sit back, maybe not relax, but try to pay much attention, as we are about to get into our first articles and videos of the day. So stay tuned, folks. Right, before we get into our first article of the day, we are here at Google, where you can see in the search bar I have typed brain rot, which is something you may be familiar with, maybe because in 2024 the Oxford University, or maybe the Oxford Dictionary, proclaimed this the word of the year. Now, as we are about to discover from an AI overview, and don't worry guys, we're not going to become reliant on AI overviews for information. I am just merely using it as an extension to information that I provide within my videos for you, as always, to make of what you will. Now, all AI overview really is you're not actually having a conversation with an intelligent being, so to speak. It just collects and curates information from the most popular or most recent articles that will show up in a search result, and compile a overview, as we're about to read, from the sort of most prominent pieces of information that will be contained in those relevant articles. So this particular AI overview starts out by saying, brain rot is a term describing the perceived mental and intellectual decline resulting from excessive consumption of low quality, trivial or overly stimulating online content. And what they're really sort of referring to there is TikTok videos. And you must agree, guys, if you've ever seen a TikTok video or two, which I am in the vast majority of being unfortunate to have done so, some of the sort of content that you see in these very short videos is extremely bizarre. I mean, you must be familiar with sort of people pointing at stuff, or people doing absolutely nothing but sort of making faces to somebody speaking, or maybe maybe watching a video that they've overlaid themselves on top of. Maybe you'll see people doing interpretive dances or these sort of viral TikTok trends, but most of it is very, very bizarre, outlandish, and overly stimulating. And this is characterized by effects like a shortened attention span, the AI overview continues to say. Also has difficulty focusing, mental fatigue, and reduced ability to engage in deeper thinking, often attributed to the addictive nature of social media algorithms that provide constant, rapid-fire digital rewards. And that quick-fire, rapid digital reward is, of course, dopamine. Dopamine, I've probably just doing a little play on words for my own titillation and for a few entertainment of the few people that do watch RD. But you can watch this video, the AI overview tells you, to learn more about the effects of social media on the brain. And I'm sure that video will not be extremely long in its duration. And it's from a channel called TechWiser. October the 5th, 25 was the release date, and the title was Destroyed. We're not going to watch it. If you wanted to go and watch that at some point in time later, please do so. But for now, if you are watching, continue to do so, because we've got a lot of information here to get through on the subject of digital dependency. But the key characteristics and effects of brain rot are a shortened attention span. The constant stream of short, fast-paced content can reduce the ability to concentrate for long periods. It also can cause mental fatigue, and overexposure to this type of content can lead to a feeling of being mentally drained and exhausted. Difficulty focusing. Users may experience a reduced ability to focus on complex or nuanced tasks after consuming a large amount of digital media. And, they use the term user there, which is again another sort of term that is more commonly attributed to addicts, users of particular substances. And again, the sort of, if you are a user and you inhale or consume an exceptionally large amount of the substance of your choice, then you will have difficulties functioning as a normal person as a result of that. But it also contributes to problematic online habits. This can include doom scrolling, which is endlessly scrolling through distressing news, and an overly reliance on digital platforms. So that's, relying on digital platforms to inform you. And if your information is coming in the form of short form videos or memes, you're not being informed, guys. You are indeed being manipulated, and you are indeed rotting your brain cells. Each video and meme that you share. Now, I'm doom scrolling, endlessly scrolling through distressing news. If you notice in this day and age, in contemporary times, that the majority of content that will be provided to you on your news feed, courtesy of your the algorithm of choice, be it Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok, will often be of a distressing or sort of agitating nature, something that may get your back up a little bit, or something that you may feel that you complied to speak up about because some of the information doesn't necessarily meet your approval or fit into your beliefs system, and that is why you don't see so many sort of posts these days from friends or family, or the more sort of traditional posts we used to see on the likes of sort of Facebook and Twitter of people's pets, what they had for lunch, where they went on holiday. Now it sort of seems to be an endless bombardment of memes and short form videos. But before I digress too much, back to this little AI overview. The impact on cognitive function. Some effects are linked to how the brain's reward systems are activated by social media, with short bursts of dopamine from the likes and shares create a cycle of dependency. A short burst of dopamine is very similar to sort of picking up a crack pipe and sparking up every 5 to 10 minutes. It's absolutely no different. You see some of these young kids that are stuck in seemingly connected constantly to their devices. You got to look at the sort of parents and think to yourself, would you give your son or daughter a crack pipe and a big bag of crack to entertain themselves throughout the day? And the answer is probably not. But it does seem to be not applicable when it comes to a very dangerous device that does create dependency and also very, very bad mental health issues and dependency issues. This is something, you really, really have to sort of take into consideration. Was this side effect just purely accidental? When TikTok and memes and all of these things were created, were they created, in the prime to entertain us and give us something to giggle and laugh and joke about and share amongst our friends? Or was it designed purposely to do exactly what it is doing, rotting the brains of the masses? And there is another video there that you can watch there that says, this video explains the link between brain rot and the ability to handle boredom. And something we will get into during this presentation is the sort of the necessity, or the need rather, for people and society in general to start embracing boredom a little bit more, because through boredom our mind is sort of activated into using its own imagination and looking for things to entertain ourselves with, whereas when we just pick up our social device, all our entertainment is pre-approved, pre-designed, targeted and delivered to us so that we don't have to go anywhere else, do anything else, or even think for ourselves. There'll be a lot of thoughts that will be provided that we can then just endlessly share. But don't watch that video. Keep watching mine. You can go and watch it. It's AVTV if you wish to see that, and that was from January the 2nd of this year. But the origin in modern usage of brain rot, the phrase which gained popularity recently and was named Oxford University Press's 2024 Word of the Year, has historical roots. A similar term was used by Henry David Thoreau in Walden to describe a decline in intellectual effort. Today, its usage is primarily associated with the negative effects of excessive internet and social media use, particularly on platforms like TikTok. While not a formal medical diagnosis, the term reflects a widespread feeling of concern about the impact of digital media on mental well-being. And we are going to discover that within the sort of last year and sort of within the last few months, even the last few weeks, there have been some scientific, medical, psychological research put into this that is about to be peered. And if it is accepted by its peers, then this will or could very well become a recognized diagnosed medical condition. And I also believe that brain rot also goes by the name of TikTok brain, which we are going to look at very, very shortly, just to get a comparison of that. And as I said, these are things that was it by accident? Were all these side effects in symptoms and syndromes that are being caused by social media, and in particular short form videos, purposeful or accidental? And there is another video there. This video discusses how teens use and perceive brain rot online, and that is from CBC Kids News from November the 12th, 2024. Brain rot explained: how digital overload affects, and there is an article from Inspira Health, which we might not read this time out. We are going to look at this little bit of information from Wikipedia, because brain rot also sort of is a reference to the content itself that is contained within short form videos. The content is brain rot, and it is designed to rot your brain. But here we can see from Wikipedia, in internet culture, the term brain rot describes digital media deemed to be of low quality of value, value, and low quality and low value content does seem to be the primary content that is being consumed by users of social media, and it is also the sort of the most popular and most frequently shared content on social media. The term also more broadly refers to the harmful effects associated with excessive or disordered use of digital media, especially short-form entertainment and doom scrolling. So I just want to scroll down a little bit quickly in the all section of the Google search result. You see there, what is Gen Z brain rot? What is brain rot slang for? What are brain rot symptoms? What is brain rot? So hopefully we have already given you a brief little bit of insight as to what brain rot is, but this is what I wanted to kind of show you before we go over to the news section, where we are going to go and click on our first article of the day, which came out about 4 hours ago. So here are some short videos talking about what is brain rot, and you can kind of see the one on the left there has a dual screen and lots of flashing images going around, and on the right of the screen you can see a girl using one of those sort of trendy little square microphone things that you see a lot of people using, and also using an excessive amount of head movements and hand movements. And you also notice one video is 1 minute and 45 seconds long, and one video is 1 minute and 28 seconds long. Extremely short videos, and again, these two short videos are not exactly designed to inform you as to what brain rot is. They are just designed to rot your brain. So as I said, guys, we are going to head over to the news section, which I will click on now. And here you are. Where is it? It's actually 5 hours ago now. TikTok scrolling linked to brain rot. A new study warns. Here's what you need to know, according to Geo News, and also according to me. I'm trying to provide you as much information regarding topics attributed to what I'm calling digital dependency, for you to make of it what you will. But the study links short-form video platforms to brain rot, identifying it as a real neurocognitive syndrome. TikTok scrolling linked to brain rot. New study warns. Here's what you need to know. And that would have been quite a nice image for the thumbnail background, but I am already committed to a thumbnail, so maybe that will be saved for another time and another video people are unlikely to watch. But excessive scrolling on social media apps for short-term video content consumption is a phenomenon most people now struggle with. And now the American Psychological Association, the APA, has warned in a new study that excessive use of TikTok scrolling is linked to negative cognitive effects, commonly known as brain rot. And according to this APA study, it confirms that brain rot is more than an internet meme. It's a real neurocognitive syndrome causing measurable damage. And we will be looking into the study a little bit later, and be warned, guys, it is extremely long, and even by my standards, it's extremely long. But the study under the title Feeds, Feelings and Focus is a systematic review and a meta-analysis examining the cognitive and mental health correlates of short-form video. Used directly links and short-form video content, SFV, from the algorithm-driven platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts into what is being called brain rot. Researchers examining data from 98,299 individuals across 71 studies discovered that increased consumption of SFV, short-form videos, is directly linked to poorer cognitive performance in attention span and inhibition control. And the study results indicate that young adults consume content online an average of 6.5 hours a day, Why short-form videos undermine deep learning? The study underlines, according to this framework, repeated exposure to highly stimulating, fast-paced content may contribute to habituation, in which users become desensitized to slower, more effortful cognitive tasks, such as reading, problem-solving, or deep learning, or maybe even watching videos that are longer than 2 minutes long, like the videos that you may find here at NoOneWatchesArDee, but nobody watches my videos, hence the name. But overall, these findings highlight the importance of understanding the broader health implications of FV use. It's given its pervasive role in daily life and the potential to impact health, behavior, and well-being. The researchers noticed the next time you are scrolling through TikTok or another SFV content platform and you feel your attention span is failing, try breaking the habit. Put your phone down and pick up a book. It's the simplest, most effective change you can make. And that was that article. We're just going to do and look at a few of these news articles. We're not going to read all of them. And as you can see, some of them have come out within the last 24 hours, and the majority of them have come out within the last few weeks. Geo News was the one we just read from 5 hours ago. Above, Euronews.com, TikTok scrolling can cause brain rot, according to a study. The New York Times, how AI and social media contribute to brain rot. Brain rot named Oxford's Word of the Year. The New Yorker is 6-7 really brain rot. 6-7 is a trend that circulates on TikTok and is something that probably Gen Z will know a lot about, or anyone below Gen Z. If you have kids, particular teenagers, ask them about 6-7, although they'll probably be, Mom, Dad, that's not cool. Futurism, training AI on brain rot content calls. Now, this is something we will probably come back to during this, because apparently there have been also studies conducted on the effects of short form videos on AI. And spoiler artificial folks, short form videos can cause highly intelligent, artificially intelligent algorithms to show signs of brain rot of their own. And there it says here from a month ago from Wired, AI models can get brain rot too. So I mean, if the things that are creating brain rot can also suffer from brain rot, you've really got to start questioning yourself, guys, and thinking to yourself, this has got to be pretty dangerous. The Baffler, brain rot without borders, from 5 days ago. Nature, too much social media gives AI chatbots brain rot. Yeah, we will be coming back to some of these there. And the last one is News Nation, TikTok, Instagram causes real brain rot. So I'm not going to carry on too much on brain rot. I'm going to let you watch a short video, and then we're going to find out what TikTok brain is before we start getting into the real nitty-gritty of the damaging effects and looking into this recent study regarding short-form videos and their contribution to destroying the minds of anybody who consumes them. So stay tuned, folks, as NoOneWatchesArDee continues.
Think about the last time you were binging your favorite show. Were you locked in, paying attention to every word, or did you pick up your phone and before you knew it, the credits were rolling? If it's the latter, you may be at risk of feeling the dreaded effects of brain rot. The idea of brain rot has become so prevalent, it was designated Oxford Dictionary's 2024 Word of the Year. Is a glut of digital content, especially on short-form video apps like TikTok, affecting our mental health and cognitive abilities? Oxford defines brain rot as the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as a result of overconsumption of material, now particularly online content, considered to be trivial or unchallenging. Put simply,
consumption of unchallenging content. on the internet and on our devices. And it can refer to that content as well as the symptoms people experience from consuming that content. Anything from confusion, memory loss, physical symptoms like headache, fatigue.
Number one, what it's doing is it's shortening our attention spans, making us become junkies for the latest, fastest piece of information. And two, it's actually harming our memories so that we aren't able to remember the things and put it into the proper context.
To dig into this, we tapped Dr. Gary Small, a professor and chair in psychiatry at Hackensack Meridian School of Medicine, and Kurt Steinhorst, a leadership strategist focusing on attention. Both of them got into the effects of technology on the brain because of personal experiences. Steinhorst says he realized how inundated he was when he started his own business.
It was the first time that I was just completely bowled over by the amount of digital information. And I'd look up and it'd be 3 p.m. and I would have a great, at the time, Google Meet conversation with my girlfriend, who then has become my wife, but nothing had gotten done. So for me, it was truly a personal journey of I either have to figure this out or I'm going to need to move back home and live with my parents like everyone else in my generation was.
For Small, his teenage kids' activities piqued his interest.
I noticed they were playing video games, or my son was playing video games. My daughter was on her smartphone all the time, and it concerned me. And that led to more studies trying to understand this.
While the word saw a 230% surge in usage last year, it first popped up in 1854, but Oxford says it's taken on a new meaning. Now, the term encapsulates a cultural movement of digital overstimulation defined by doom scrolling, TikTok rabbit holes, and skibbity toilet. So is this kind of content changing the way people use their brains, or is it facing the scrutiny every form of new media from rock and roll music to video games have dealt with? It's not an official medical term, but still, there are a number of symptoms associated with brain rot. Many reported as a deterioration of their intelligence or their cognitive abilities. Others say they have a harder time concentrating or have to deal with brain fog. Recent studies link frequent short-form video consumption to impaired memory, reduced attention spans, and lower academic performance. Researchers attribute this to rapid context switching and cognitive overload.
One of the more interesting recent findings is shrinkage or atrophy in the gray matter of the brain, in areas in the frontal lobe that control decision-making, memory, and other functions. Now, that's a bit concerning.
Conditions like brain rot are often related to doom scrolling. We've all been there. It's that compulsive consumption of news content, specifically of the negative variety. Research suggests you may start doom scrolling while checking news or social media in times of uncertainty, for instance, a natural disaster. And doom scrolling can have serious effects on your mental health. Research shows it reinforces pessimism while increasing stress levels. In fact, the practice can trap users in both dopamine and feedback loops.
What the environment that we're experiencing is really good at is giving us dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that is released when we experience something that makes us feel good, that our brain says, do that more, it will help you survive. And the anticipation of that event occurring again actually releases dopamine. And so, the risk is that we become more and more dependent upon the next dopamine hit, and we lose the capacity to extend attention in an area that doesn't give us an immediate dopamine hit.
Constant content consumption can lead to information overload. Constant notifications take a toll on working memory and can lead to broader mental health issues like burnout, anxiety, and depression. While all of this may change how our brains operate, there can be other downsides. One of the reasons humans consume so much content is to fight boredom. While it isn't a fun feeling, research suggests boredom encourages the brain to seek something interesting and breeds creativity.
Boredom creates and forces us to expand and to imagine, and imagination is one of the foundational pillars of what will make people valuable in a world with AI. If I'm not exercising the mental muscle of imagination devoid of anything in my physical environment, then what I'm going to do is lose the ability to bring that to bear on a technology that has literally all the current information in the world, but doesn't have the ability to create the new.
And it's in the best interest of tech companies to keep your eyes on those devices.
It was in the 1970s, actually, that the term attention economy started to become used. And all it means is that the single most highly coveted and financially profitable resource is not just dollars, it's human attention. So you see that in the advertising world. This is why hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars are spent for the sole goal of capturing attention.
And they are getting your attention. According to Addiction Help, about 10% of Americans are addicted to social media.
It's tricky because, with, say, alcohol or drug addiction, you can abstain from that to try to reset your brain and behavior. Here, most of us need the technology for work and for our social lives. So it's impossible to abstain from it. So we have to figure out other ways to help people.
Some of the biggest platforms have released some form of digital well-being features. TikTok Sleep Hours notifies users that they should stop using the app after 10 p.m. and offers guided meditation to help them relax before putting their phones down.
10 minutes a day of mindfulness makes a big difference.
The feature is automatically on for users under 18, and the company claims 98% of teens kept the feature turned on during its testing. Adults can also use the feature. The latest phones by Apple, Samsung, and Google all have features built in to track the amount of time people spend on their devices and will notify them when it's time for a break. But you don't have to rely on tech giants to get you off your device.
It's not rocket science. And of course, make sure you don't overuse the technology, take breaks, and even use your technology to remind you to take breaks. Set the alarm, get up, have a conversation, exercise, stretch. I do this in my office all the time. I have my 7-minute standing workout that I do to take a break, kind of get my heart pump oxygen and nutrients to my brain cells to get me functioning a bit better.
So while it has its downsides, there are still a lot of positives to social media and the ever-connected world we live in. Dr. Small says the tech makes it much easier for him to collaborate with researchers around the world in an instant. With Straight Arrow News, I'm Kennedy Felton.
Right, this article from Unplugged is headlined, "What is TikTok Brain?" and pretty much is exactly what brain rot is, but it could be a little bit deeper rooted than all of what we have just read. But can't concentrate, feel an invisible pull on your phone. TikTok brain is a term used to describe how short-form videos are ruining our ability to focus. And this is actually from October 15th of 2024. Considering that TikTok only became a household name in the United Kingdom during the lockdown in 2020, and I think that is the case for the majority of people, although TikTok's been around since sort of 2016, I think during the lockdown in the pandemic, and people sort of cooped up inside, suddenly discovered TikTok, and really and truly that for me is sort of the 0 hour of the infection that was caused by TikTok. Many of you may have beliefs on what exactly COVID-19 was, but was COVID-19 the sort of ruse to put people into their homes and then introduce them to TikTok in short form videos? And here we are 5 years later. I was going to say 12 years later, but it seems like 12 years at times. But here we are 5 years later, and we've got people conducting surveys looking into the impact on TikTok and how destructive it is actually to the brain of the consumer. But it is infiltrated most of our screens, the article continues to say, and that was something I've already mentioned here. And why so? Is it by accident, or is it a deliberate, targeted, mimetic warfare campaign being carried out on everybody's rectangular information device in real time as we speak? If you're watching in public, now take a look up from the screen, have a look around and see how many other people are glued to their screen, and if you can, try and have a little glance over someone's shoulders, and probably 9 times out of 10 they are going to be watching a short form video. And the article says in answer to why, it's because it is built to keep you hooked. But do we really know what it's doing to our brains? The term TikTok brain is widely searched on the platform itself and has been coined to describe the negative effect that overuse of the platform and similar ones in brackets can have on our brains. And while TikTok offers endless entertainment, its impact, especially on young minds, is starting to raise concerns. So what exactly is TikTok brain? As I said, it's very similar to what is being called brain rot. I think it's two sides of the same coin pretty much. But it is a term that has become a catch-all for the impact short-form, highly engaging videos have on our attention span. In other words, the more we get sucked into TikTok's never-ending stream of fast-paced content, the harder it comes to focus on anything else. Generation Alpha are even calling mind-numbing content on the platform TikTok brain rot because they feel like it's literally rotting their brain. And that's because it literally is rotting their brain. Parents are noticing that their kids cannot sit still through a full movie anymore because it feels too slow. Homework, that's becoming a massive struggle too. If you are a parent, pipe up now in the comments. Have you noticed any of these symptoms displayed in your younglings? But homework is becoming a massive struggle too, and the brain, particularly in kids, is so used to these rapid dopamine hits from TikTok that more boring activities like reading or even chatting with friends in real life becomes harder to enjoy. Why does TikTok do this to our brains? Well, TikTok is designed to keep you hooked. The algorithm is like your personal hype man, constantly feeding you content it knows you will like. But this is where things get tricky. Studies show that these personalized feeds light up the same part of the brain associated with addiction. One study in China found that the brain scans of students watching TikTok-style videos showed addictive behaviors as their brains craved the next video and the next one. You get the idea, similar to doing a line or picking up a pipe. But now TikTok isn't the only app that does this. YouTube, Instagram, and other platforms use similar tactics. But TikTok's short, snappy videos take it to another level. It is constant, it is fast, it is fun, although I don't find it fun, maybe you do. That's probably because you may find yourself being addictive to TikTok videos, and it's not your fault if you are. It's designed to do that. Better folks have succumbed to other addictions in the past, so no one really is susceptible from becoming addicted to something, especially if they did not know beforehand that they were entering into an addictive pastime. But it tends to show you a feed full of strangers rather than people you actually know. And before you know it, hours have passed and your brain has been trained to expect quick rewards, making it harder to focus on anything that doesn't give you an instant dopamine hit. The symptoms of TikTok brain are as follows. A shortened attention span. If you're finding it harder to focus on longer tasks like reading a book or watching a movie, you are not alone. Research shows that constant exposure to short-form content can make longer activities feel boring or too slow. You know, if you find yourself as someone who shares a lot of short-form videos as much as you watch them, then you know you're not really informing anybody. The content isn't designed to inform, it's designed to get people addicted. You are essentially sort of just handing out free crack to passers-by and hoping that somebody will jump out on that. So, you know, sort of question as to why exactly you are sharing particular content or information, and if it is in fact information that you are sharing, or if it is not very highly damaging brain rot material. As I said, you wouldn't go out of your way to willingly give a child a fresh syringe and a nice bag of heroin. But difficulty number 2 syndrome with focus, struggling to complete projects that require sustained attention. The constant switching between videos may be training your brain to crave novelty, making it harder to stay on task. Restlessness, you may feel mentally restless or jittery, unable to sit still or do nothing without reaching for your phone. It will also affect memory issues. Some studies suggest that overuse of TikTok could affect working memory, making it harder to retain information over time. So again, guys, are these side effects sounding very accidental to you, or are they sounding very, very concise and coordinated? Addictive behavior. If you feel compelled to check TikTok every few minutes or find it difficult to stop scrolling, you might be experiencing signs of social media addiction. And again, it isn't your fault if you are addictive and are displaying any of those symptoms. How it affects kids and oddness and adults, to be honest. The problem is even bigger when it comes to kids. Their brains are still developing and are constantly bombarding them with fast-paced, highly engaging content might not be the best thing for their attention spans. Studies suggest that the more time young people spend on TikTok, the more likely they are to struggle with focus, memory, and even mental health issues like anxiety and depression. Parents are also noticing behavior changes in their kids. An article from the Wall Street Journal mentioned how kids couldn't sit still for a 2-hour movie, something they would have easily done before. Others are seeing their children get frustrated or anxious when it's time to switch off the app and focus on schoolwork or other tasks. And why we keep mindlessly scrolling. So why do we keep coming back even when we know it's not good for us? Well, the brain loves novelty, and TikTok offers exactly that. The algorithm tailors your feed to show you content you're most likely to engage with, and each video is different. And when we engage, we get a little bit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical, which keeps us mindlessly scrolling. As tech addiction expert Dr. Anna Lemke puts it, social media feeds, unlike other addictions, never run out. And that's very, very true and very, very poignant, in fact, guys, because, no matter how big a bag of drugs or how big a bottle you buy, eventually it will run out and you'll be scraping the sides or licking the baggie for whatever residue is left. But TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, never ending. You can binge TikTok for hours, days, weeks, months without any stopping point, unlike, say, when you run out of cash at the casino or you run out of drugs or booze. And this constant stimulation impacts our ability to focus on things that aren't TikTok, like schoolwork or even just hanging out with our friends. Can TikTok be good? Not in my opinion, but it's not all doom and gloom, the article says. Social media, including TikTok, can be a source of joy, creativity, and even learning. Although nobody really does end up watching my shit video productions, I kind of enjoy the process of creating them and editing them more than sort of the presenting of them. But I do find I get a little bit of enjoyment, and I guess I get my dopamine kick from creating shit video productions, but creative and even learning. Back to the article, and we're saying it's not all doom and gloom. Social media can be a source of joy and even learning, and hopefully I'm using social media to provide you a source of learning. But as always, guys, be reminded of make of it what you will. But many people have used TikTok to express themselves, find community, or learn something new. One study from the University of Oxford even found that being connected to the internet can improve well-being if used correctly. But there's no denying it that for some of us, especially kids, the negatives outweigh the positives. The key here is balance, and let's be honest, that's hard when the app is designed to keep you on it as long as possible to make money. What can you do about it? The truth is, TikTok and other social media platforms are part of our world now. They're part of our daily routine and our rituals, and it's very unlikely that we're going to escape its lure and clutches anytime soon. But knowing how they work and the effect they have on our brains can help us use them more mindfully. And as I said, having the knowledge and the understanding of what these things are actually truly designed to do. They're not designed really to inform us or keep us entertained. They are, as you're seeing, designed to destroy our brains and reduce our inability to interact with living people for long periods of time. Redundant. But here are a few actionable steps to help mitigate the effects of TikTok brain. Set time limits. Its an addictive nature means you can lose hours without noticing. Setting daily limits on screen time helps reduce the risk of overuse. Encourage mindful use. If you are using TikTok, try to be conscious of how much time you're spending on it and how it's affecting your mood or concentration, and why you are exactly sharing the information that you find, or sharing the content rather. I'm not going to say information, sharing the content that you find on TikTok. Why exactly are you sharing that to your other social media feeds? What is the purpose of it? Exactly. Is it because it's your story, or are you selling someone else's story, or you're hoping for sort of an additional dopamine hit from sort of sharing something that give you an initial dose of dopamine? Try to diversify your activities. Make sure that time spent on TikTok is balanced out with more engaging activities such as reading, exercise, or face-to-face social interactions. Take regular breaks. Give your brain time to reset. The Pomodoro technique, working in 25-minute intervals with 5-minute breaks, can help retrain your attention span. Consider a digital detox. Taking a break from TikTok or any social media platform can help you regain control of your attention and reduce the constant craving for instant gratifications. P.S. That's exactly what we offer. 3 nights digital detoxes in an off-grid cabin. Hyperlink there to click on if that interests you. But in conclusion, the article says TikTok has its place. It's fun, it's creative, and it brings people together. But I don't believe that's to be the case. I actually think it pushes people aside more than it brings people together. As an awful lot of the content on there is extremely polarizing, very much likes the us versus them content. But it is crucial to be aware of its impact on our brains, and particularly for younger users. By understanding the symptoms of TikTok brain and taking proactive steps to manage screen time, you can enjoy the platform without falling into its more harmful patterns that it was designed purposely to make you fall into. Remember, the key is maintaining a healthy relationship with social media is balance. And that is it for TikTok brain. So let's go and have a little look at some of the other interesting stuff I have found regarding brain rot, TikTok brain, and what is being called digital dependency. Stay tuned.
There is a script, a terrifyingly familiar script, in our 4.0 world. Night falls. You get into bed. You tell yourself, I will just scroll for 5 minutes to relax. But then, one video leads to another. A trending dance, a life hack, a funny clip. Your hand seems to have a mind of its own. Just unconsciously swiping, and swiping. That feeling of just one more video keeps you hooked. And then, when your eyes are sore, and your mind is foggy, you glance at the clock. 2 a.m.
Oh no, I am in this video and I do not like it.
These short videos, 15-30 seconds long, they seem like harmless little candies. But they are setting a sophisticated trap. They are not just stealing your time. They are silently rewiring your brain, eroding our most valuable assets. In today's video on Harmful 4.0, let us dissect the truth. How exactly is your brain melting because of short-form video? Let us start with the first and most dangerous harm: the erosion of your ability to focus. Scientists call this fragmented brain syndrome. Imagine your brain is a muscle. When you focus on reading a book, learning a new language, or writing an important email, that muscle is being trained to become stronger, capable of processing deep and complex information. That is the state of deep thinking. When you scroll TikTok or Reels, you throw hundreds of fragmented, unrelated pieces of information at your brain, each lasting only a few seconds. Your brain is forced to constantly switch contexts. From a funny video to a serious news story, then a cooking tutorial. This constant topic hopping doesn't train your focus muscle, it weakens it.
No wonder I always skip through long movies now.
What is the real-life consequence? You will find it hard to finish a long article. You sit down to study, but every 5 minutes, you want to check your phone. In a meeting, you are easily distracted and cannot grasp the content. Your brain is slowly losing its ability to go deep on a single subject, becoming accustomed only to skimming the surface of information. Why do we know it is a waste of time, yet we cannot stop? The main culprit is a chemical in your brain called dopamine. This is the neurotransmitter that creates feelings of pleasure and reward. Every time you scroll to a surprising, funny, or relatable video, your brain gives you a small hit of dopamine. This instant gratification makes you want more. What makes this mechanism especially dangerous is the unpredictable reward. Just like a slot machine, you do not know if the next video will be good or bad. It is this suspense, this anticipation of a surprise reward, that stimulates the brain to release even more dopamine. You get caught in an inescapable addiction loop. Swipe to find a reward, get rewarded, and continue swiping to find an even bigger reward.
This is dangerous. Sign me up for rehab, please.
Gradually, your brain will become desensitized to these small dopamine hits. You will need to scroll more, watch more sensational videos to achieve the same level of satisfaction as before. When you are not on your phone, you start to feel restless, empty, and bored. Those are the classic signs of an addiction. Social media is a stage, and short videos are the carefully crafted highlight reels. On there, you will only see the best parts of other people's lives. Luxurious vacations, gourmet meals, perfect bodies that have gone through countless filters. Stories of success at age 20. Even though your rational mind knows it is just a small part of the truth, your emotions are still affected. This leads to two major psychological enemies. First is FOMO, the fear of missing out. You feel like the whole world is having fun, living an exciting life, while you are stuck in your own boring existence. Second, and more dangerous, is the culture of comparison. You unconsciously weigh your own life against the perfect images you see online.
I look at myself, and my wallet is the only thing getting thinner.
This silent comparison is a poison. It breeds self-doubt, insecurity, and feelings of not being good enough. It creates artificial standards of beauty, success, and happiness. In the long run, it can lead to social anxiety and depression from chasing an unreal version of happiness. Finally, there is the most tangible and obvious harm: wasting time. Let us say you just scroll a little, for about 2 hours a day. In a year, that is 730 hours. That number is equivalent to 30 full, 24-hour days. 30 days, an entire month each year. You are doing nothing, just lying in one spot, watching other people's lives go by on a screen. With that month, you could have completed an online course, read 20 books, or traveled to explore a new place.
A nightmare. Give me back my youth.
This is not just a loss of time. It is a loss of experiences. The time you are glued to a screen is time you are not talking to your parents, not playing with your pets, not meeting friends, not taking a walk in the park. You are trading real connections and genuine emotions for virtual, fleeting, and shallow pleasures. It is an extremely expensive trade-off. So, what can we do? Delete these apps from our lives. That might not be realistic. The problem is not the tool. It is about how we become its master. Start taking back control. Try setting time limits in your phone settings. Make your bedroom a no-tech zone. Actively find real-life hobbies to fill your free time. Practice intentional scrolling. Only open the app when you need to find specific information, not just out of habit.
Okay, deleting the app for one day.
Real life, with all its genuine joys and sorrows, is still waiting for you out there. Do not let 15-second pleasures steal your meaningful life. How much time do you spend scrolling each day?
Now we find ourselves at Unilad, and I do like to provide a various source of information when I compile these videos, so it's not just, sort of one trick pony, or this information is coming from just a single source. I do like to as I say, compile quite a variety of different articles from various outlets in Unilad, a little bit like Lad Bible is a lad mag, a publication designed for young men. And it was, of course, Lad Bible. It was one of the first outlets to report on Atlas 30i, 3i, not 31. I keep calling it 31. But this article came out on the 11th, 11/19 on the 23rd of November 2025, just a few days ago, Greenwich Mean Time. Some interesting numbers there, 11/19, 2 and 3. But it starts out by saying, bombshell study reveals the true effects of watching short-form content has on your brain. The shocking study draws data from almost 100,000 participants, and this is from an individual named Naim Shackleton, not Rusty Shackleton, Naim Shackleton. But a shocking new study has revealed the real impact doom scrolling short-form content has on your brain. And we are all guilty of endlessly scrolling through videos on platforms like Instagram Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. While it might seem harmless to watch multiple videos of people falling over or cats doing stupid things, people who consume content this way might find that it has an impact on their brains. A lot of previous research has centered on TikTok, but short-form videos, SFV, are now pretty much everywhere. With this in mind, researchers behind a new study reviewed data from 98,299 participants across 71 studies and different social media platforms. They penned in the paper, the resurgence of short-form videos popularized by TikTok and Douyin has transformed social media platforms, not just social media platforms, society in general, with features like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts fostering the TikTok widespread adoption. Although initially geared towards entertainment, short-form videos are increasingly used in education, political campaigns, advertising, and consumerism. Pretty much everything that makes up part of our daily routines is now condensed into short-form videos. Yet their design, characterized by endless scrolling interfaces, has raised concern about addiction and negative health implications. They want of nearly 100,000 participants, the team behind the bombshell study analyzed their engagement patterns and various cognitive and mental health indications on both youths and adults, and it is safe to say the results were concerning. Very large advert to get by there. In terms of cognition, it was concluded that higher short-form video consumption is linked to poorer attention across both young and older populations. Short-form video use has also been linked with poor mental health, depression, anxiety, stress, and loneliness. In particular, the continuous cycle of swiping and receiving new emotionally stimulating content has been proposed to trigger dopamine release, creating a reinforcement loop that contributes to patterns of habitual use and greater emotional reliance on digital interactions, digital dependency. The study explains this habitual engagement may be associated with heightened stress and anxiety, as some users report difficulties disengaging and regulating their emotions in offline settings. When it came to other health domains like body image, it was noticed that more research is needed. Sleep quality can also be affected by short-form videos scrolling, particularly if you're prone to going on the likes of TikTok or Instagram in bed before you go to sleep. It states, in particular, the consumption of short-form videos in the hours before bedtime has been linked to disrupted sleep quality due to the blue light emitting from electronic devices, which may inhibit the production of melatonin and serotonin, key hormones involved in regulated circadian rhythms. The general conclusion is that the heavier your short-form video consumption is, the worse both your cognition and mental health will be. And that was an article from Neem Shackleton. But wait, there's more. Published back on January of this year, 2025, at 12:03 Greenwich Mean Time. The terrifying effects scrolling on your phone as soon as you wake up, and what these effects have on you is a little bonus article that I'm going to throw in, because this is also very interesting to read. Reaching for your phone is the first thing most of us do in the morning. It's actually about the third or fourth thing I do in the morning, possibly fifth thing I do in the morning. Let the dogs out, put the coffee on, make myself some medication to smoke, and then once my sort of coffee is made and I'm ready to smoke, then I will pick up my device and check my notifications and such forth, as millions and billions of people around the world do. But if you're prone to do it, you might want to read on. According to a study put together by the International Data Corporation, 80% of smartphone users check their devices within 15 minutes of waking up. Whether it's scrolling through Instagram, replying to a text message, or seeing how many new potential suitors you have on Tinder, we're all guilty of doing it. When it seems like a harmless thing to do, as all of it is the case with all of these things, short form videos, scrolling in the morning, sharing memes, all seems harmless, but really and truly it is designed to harm us. That almost rhymed. While it seems like a harmless thing to do, after crawling out of bed in the morning, there's actually some negative side effects that it can have on you, and there's nothing like starting your day with negative side effects, folks. In a recent survey, and this isn't that recent because remember this article was originally published in January of this year, but in a not so recent survey conducted by KPMG, college students and working individuals aged between 20 and 30 were quizzed about their morning tech habits. Morning scrolling, do you remember when you used to get morning glory or morning wood? Now morning scrolling has replaced that. Specifically refers to the practice of engaging in this behavior shortly after waking up. It often involves checking social media updates, reading emails, browsing news, or catching up on messages. While it's a convenient way to stay connected and informed, the nature of endless content can also make it difficult to control the amount of time spent on screens, leading to potential distractions. There were some pros to having a nosy on your device in the morning, but the survey also found notable downsides. And one of those downsides includes increased stress and anxiety. One of those cons was increased stress and anxiety. For many, the flood of information, especially negative news or comparisons with others, can contribute to feelings of stress or anxiety, explained. This can create a negative mindset that carries on throughout the day. So that's sort of why I wanted to feature this little extra article in there, because, you know, that is how most people start their day. And once you started your day that way, then, you know, the negative mindset will carry throughout the day, and it will probably take something exceptional and joyous to probably snap you out of that mindset. But it also makes you less productive because we're all guilty of doom scrolling here and there. This may lead to delays in starting the day's activity, setting a pattern of procrastination because you spent more time on your device device than you have planned. So you think to yourself, well, to hell with my other chores, I might as well stay glued to my screen, seeing as I've committed to that. But spending too much time on social media may affect your self-esteem. Mental health, there is also the impact it has on a person's mental health, largely because of the perfect lives people seem to lead on their social media. Understandably, this can diminish self-esteem and create feelings of inadequacy, which is not the way you want to kick your day off. Disruption to morning routine, linking back to morning scrolling, reducing productivity, it can disrupt your morning routine as well. The survey detailed if scrolling is the first thing you do, it can delay important morning activities like exercise, meditation, or even having a proper breakfast. Although I was going to say, or stop us going to the bathroom, but I'm sure most of us have taken our devices while we've had a poop and scrolled through while our bodily functions empty our bowels into the pan, and we scroll away until we're finished, wash our hands and go downstairs and continue scrolling, but it doesn't set a very productive tone for the day is what they're saying. So instead, what can you do in a bid to avoid these things from happening? It's advised that you limit your scrolling time to maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and that you scroll with intent, i.e. catching up on the news or correspondence that are important, and that you set your scrolling breaks throughout the day so that you can check up on your social media pages. That's usually what I do. I check a few articles, check a few notifications, see how many people haven't watched my latest video before sort of taking my dogs out for a walk, and then hopefully getting out and sitting in the sun. So that was an article from UniVlad, and now let's go and look at some more relevant articles regarding short form video addiction. Next up is an article from SciPost, which if or not is a slightly more reputable publication than UniVlad. That I guess remains to be seen, but this article reads, people with short video addiction show altered brain responses during decision making. This was originally published July the 8th of 2025, a few months ago now, but new brain imaging study suggests that people who report symptoms of addiction to short form video platforms such as TikTok or Instagram Reels may be less sensitive to financial losses and make faster, more impulsive decisions. The finest published in NeuroImage show that this lower sensitivity to losses is associated with a distinct brain activation patterns during decision making, particularly in regions involved in evaluating rewards and guiding behavior. Oops, went a little bit too far there. Behaviors associated with addiction, such as substance use and gambling, are linked to a reduced ability to weigh potential costs and benefits. Individuals with these behaviors often prioritize short-term rewards over long-term consequences. While much attention has been paid to these traditional forms of addiction, the rise of short-form video platforms has introduced a new category of potentially harmful digital habits or digital dependencies. These apps provide a continuous stream of highly tailored content that can trigger dopamine releases and encourage repeated use. Short-form video addiction is a global public health threat, with users in China spending 151 minutes daily on average, and 95.5% of internet users engaged in this high-intensity instant reward consumption. It not only impairs attention, sleep, and mental health, but it also increases depression risks, as a study. Author Quang Wang, a professor of psychology at Tianjin Normal University. I'm glad they called it a normal university. I wonder if there's an abnormal university. But while substance addictions, e.g. gambling and alcohol, consistently show reduced sensitivity to losses, how short-form video addiction alters the brain's evaluation of risks versus loss was virtually unexplored. Thus, we pioneered an integration of computonal modeling, DDM, and neuroimaging, MRI, to uncover 1. Whether addicts undervalue long-term costs of usage, e.g. time loss health risks, and 2. how neural evidence accumulation, speed, and motor sensory networks drive such decision biases. Specifically, the research team wanted to understand whether individuals who report more symptoms of short-form video addiction also show reduced loss aversion, a psychological tendency to give greater weight to losses than to equivalent gains. Loss aversion is generally considered a protective feature of decision-making, as it helps people avoid risky behavior. Previous studies have found that people with gambling disorder, alcohol dependence, and certain drug addictions show reduced loss aversion, but little was known about this pattern might emerge in non-substance behavioral addictions like compulsive short video use. To explore this question, the researchers recruited 36 university students aged 18 to 24, all of whom completed a widely used measure of short video addiction symptoms. This questionnaire asked how often participants experienced cravings, difficulties controlling their use, or negative consequences from excessive short video watching. All participants also underwent functional magnetic resonance imaging while performing a mixed gambling task, which involved accepting or rejecting hypothetical gambles that offered varying combinations of potential monetary gains and losses. The researchers designed the task to measure how sensitive each participant was to potential losses compared to gains. The team used behavioral modeling techniques known as drift diffusion model, DDM, to break down the decision-making process into measurable components. This model estimates how quickly a person accumulates evidence in favor of one decision or another, how much evidence they require to make a choice, and how long non-decision processes like sensory encoding or motor response take. It allows researchers to distinguish between people who are slow and cautious versus those who make hasty decisions with less deliberation. The analysis revealed a link between short video addiction symptoms and lower loss aversion. In other words, participants who scored higher on the addiction scale were less deterred by the possibility of financial losses and more likely to take risks. These individuals also showed faster accumulation of decision evidence, suggesting a tendency to make quicker, more impulsive choices. This link between addiction symptoms, reduced sensitivity to loss, and accelerated decision-making was statistically robust and remained significant even after accounting for differences in age, sex, and socio-economic backgrounds. To better understand the brain mechanisms underlying these behavioral patterns, the researchers examined neuroactivity during the decision-making task, and they found that participants with higher short video addiction symptoms showed reduced activation in a brain region called the precuneus during gain-related decisions. The part of the brain is associated with self-reflection and cognitive control, and value-based evaluation. In contrast, these participants showed increased activation in the cerebellum and the post-central gyrus areas involved in motor control and sensory processing when evaluating potential loss. It continues to say that follow-up statistical tests showed that the brain activity in the precuneus played a mediating role in the relationship between short-form video addiction symptoms and both loss aversion and decision speed. In other words, reduced activation in this region helped explain why individuals with more addiction symptoms were less sensitive to losses and made quicker decisions. Additional analysts using a method called intersubject representational similarity analysis further revealed that people with similar patterns of short-form video addiction symptoms also had similar brain activation profiles in cognitive control and motor-related networks during the gain and loss processing. Studies have found that people with high levels of short-form video addiction are less sensitive to loss and more impulsive in decision-making. Evidence accumulates faster, Wang told SciPost. This suggests that they may underestimate the long-term costs of swipe short videos, e.g. time wasted, sleep problems, and focus more on the immediate pleasure. Go to bed in half an hour, just watch a few more videos. I go to bed in another hour, watch a few more videos. You get the picture. But from a neural perspective, abnormal activity of the brain's cognitive control network, e.g. the frontal pole and the frontal gyrus, and sensor motor network, e.g. the central posterior gyrus, is a potential cause. The public needs to be vigilant. The instant reward design of short videos may subtly change the brain's decision-making patterns, leading to uncontrolled use. Why on earth would they want to change the way the brain's decision-making patterns work? I wonder what purpose they could put that to if that is the case. But while the study provides new insights into the brain mechanisms that may underline compulsive short-form video use, there are some limitations. The sample size was relatively small and consisted only of young adults enrolled in a university, limiting the ability to generalize the findings to other age groups or populations. The study also relied on a hypothetical gambling task which may not fully capture the emotional and social dynamics involved to a real-world scenario. But short video consumption future research could benefit from incorporating more ecologically valid tasks or using longitudinal designs to track how the brain and behavior change over time with increased platform use. In addition, the study's design does not allow for casual conclusions. While the findings suggest a strong association between short-form video addiction symptoms, loss sensitivity, and brain activity patterns, they do not establish whether excessive platform use changes the brain or whether with people with certain cognitive styles or neural profiles are more prone to developing problematic usage patterns. Further research is needed to understand how these relationships unfold over time and whether targeted interventions such as cognitive training or behavioral therapy could help restore a more balanced decision making in affected individuals. In the future, we plan to 1. Explore the short-form video addiction risk prediction model based on brain imaging, and 2. Further explore the neural mechanism of short-form video addiction through longitudinal designs, and 3. Explore the psychological mechanism and molecular basis of short-form video addiction. And Wang explained the long-term goal is to integrate a multi-dimensional evidence of brain imaging, psychological mechanism, molecular basis to reduce the risk of addiction from the source. The study, Loss Aversion and the Evidence of Accumulation in Short Video Addiction, a Behavioral and Neuroimaging Investigation, was authored by Chang Li Yunlan, Wang and all those other people. So there was another slightly longer and interesting article, at least I found it interesting, showing the effects on people's ability to make rational decisions when it comes to loss over, long-term loss over short-term gain. And many people, as I said, are relying on this dopamine fix to get them through the day and put all other activities in importances aside in order to make sure that they do spend as much time as they possibly can indulging in watching short form videos on platforms such as TikTok, YouTube and Instagram. So let's go and see what's up next as No One Watches RD. Dopamine dependency continues. So here we are at Google, where I have typed short form video addiction in the search bar, and here is an overview from AI regarding the subject, and it starts out by saying short form video addiction is the compulsive and uncontrolled use of short videos, leading to negative impacts on physical and mental health. This addiction is fueled by algorithms that deliver a constant stream of dopamine inducing content similar to other addictions. It can cause sleep disturbances, anxiety, depression, reduced motivation, and impact on decision making. And there is a video included in this that will allow you to find out a little bit more about the 30-second rush. And there is a video from August 21st, 2024 by someone named Timo Janssen. But what is it exactly? AI goes on to say that compulsive and excessive use and inability to control the use of short-form video platforms leading to excessive viewing. A negative impact, it interferes with daily life, social interactions, and work or academic activities. Why it happens? It happens due to a dopamine release. The rapid succession of emotionally stimulating short videos triggers a release of dopamine, creating a cycle of seeking more. Algorithm design. Platforms use algorithm to personalize content, making it highly engaging and difficult to stop watching. Brain changes. Continuous use can alter brain regions involved in reward processing, attention, and decision making. And there is another video that you can watch there that explains how short video addiction can be compared to other addictions in terms of brain impact. And for some reason, you can't see it. It's from CBS 13 News, but there's no thumbnail. And that was from March 18th of 2025. You might come back and click on that one to fill in some gaps between me reading articles. That will surely send you to sleep. But health and cognitive consequences. Mental health, increased symptoms of anxiety, depression, and stress. Sleep problems, difficulty sleeping and poor sleep quality. Cognitive effects, impairments in attention, learning, and memory. Academic performance, reduced learning motivation, increased procrastination, and more short-term oriented mindset. Physical health, sleep disturbances, and potential physical issues like neck pain. Risk-taking. Individuals may exhibit higher risk-taking tendencies in their decision-making. How to manage it. Limit exposures, set time limits on apps, and consider deleting it from your phone. Wonderful advice, deleting it from your phone, and try not to watch short-form videos, and certainly try not to share short-form videos, because all you're doing is just sharing a very harmful substance, so to speak. But you can block content, use browser extensions or settings to block specific short video platforms or content, and focus on the cause. Understand the addictive nature of the platforms and how they exploit brain chemistry chemistry. Now, there's quite an awful lot of articles, and many of these articles are actually surveys conducted. Some of the surveys that we have been reading about in previous articles in his presentations have been making their way onto the internet within the last sort of 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. But sort of throughout this last year, there's been an awful lot of news and articles reporting on the dangers of consuming far too many hours of short form videos and the effects that it has on the mind and the physical body. And this has now become something that is of a great concern and is considered a addiction that is equivalent to that of being addicted to substances or alcohol. But this first one, look, from the National Institutes of Health. So this is actually a government website, in the United States government website here, that carried out this particular survey. And these, honestly, guys, go on and on and on and on from ever. This one was actually from the 2023 December. This was released. But the effects of short-form video addiction on undergraduates, academic procrastination, a moderated mediation model. The background: short-form videos have become one of the most popular ways for people to entertain and relax. However, the intense interest in short-form videos has given rise to short video addiction, which poses risks to both physical and mental health of individuals. Undergraduates are one of the important users for short-form videos, and the influence of short-form video addiction calls for more attention. This study aimed to investigate the association between short-form video addiction and academic procrastination among undergraduates, exploring the role of executive functions, i.e. attentional control, and personality traits, i.e. boredness and phronesis, in association. And I'm not going to read any more, guys, because honestly this goes on and on and on. But the conclusion does say the findings expand on knowledge of the negative effects of short-form video addiction and the underlying mechanisms, providing implications for mitigating undergraduates' academic procrastination. So undergraduates who are at universities are now sort of putting their studies aside in order to watch TikToks. The rapid development in technology and the internet has transformed people's lives, and short-form video applications such as TikTok have swept across the world. Short-form videos are typically less than 15 minutes in length and mostly between 1 and 5 minutes, with concise content and a clear theme. According to GW1, TikTok has attracted 4 billion global downloads from January 2018 to November 2022, becoming the social media platform with the highest download numbers ever. As a pioneer of short videos, Chinese short-form videos apps, e.g. Douyin and Kwai, have massive domestic impact, and these are the sort of apps that I believe TikTok took influence from and accompanied their sort of methodology with the most sophisticated algorithm ever let loose. But they have a very large domestic impact within China. Until 2022, users of short-form videos have reached 962 million, which included 91.5% of the overall internet use. However, the high impact of short-form videos brought both considerable advantages and potential risks, and it has been found that the overuse of the internet and other various internet applications such as online gaming and social networking services poses a real threat to individuals' mental health, interpersonal relationships, and quality of life. Corresponding to this phenomenon, broad internet addiction has gradually attracted attention from the mass media and researchers, yet the impact of specific internet addictions, including short-form video addiction, deserves closer examination, which is what this survey and one of many more do. And here's another one, a Nature undergraduate short form video, addiction, learning, burnout, with association involving anxiety symptoms and coping styles in moderation. And there are almost an endless list of these. Here's another one there, adolescent short-term video addiction, neuroanatomical and functional substrates of a short video addiction. There are a few videos there, like you'll never watch a short form video again on YouTube. Internet addiction, swipe, scroll and repeat. There are a few questions. Are short form videos addictive? Let's just click on that one. The results showed that short form video addiction is positively associated with both learning, burnout, and there's some numbers there. Let's get rid of that. Reels to remembrance, attention partially, I guess, is removed as a result of short form video addiction. Here's one from Frontiers Analysts. The causes. This is another long one. Analysis of the causes of the psychological mechanisms and coping strategies of short video addiction in China. An extremely long one again. Reddit. This one's interesting. I am going to read this because, it doesn't matter if or not you download TikTok or actively use TikTok, you will find it almost impossible to avoid TikTok videos or a variant, a cloned variant of a TikTok clone video, be it a YouTube short, a Facebook story, or an Instagram reel. But ever since TikTok got big, this is an article from back in 2024, I believe, from an individual, digital minimalism, I think is the user's name there. I hate being unable to escape short form content, and even though there is an option to sort of reduce the amount of shorts or short form videos that you see on platforms like YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, you seem to have to always prompt these platforms to stop showing you. It's not like a one-time deal that you press show lesser shorts and you never see them again. You have to kind of constantly do this. They're trying to force feed these down our throats, and I'm hoping you're beginning to see that there is a reason for it, because they are extremely harmful and they are changing the way the brains function and the way people behave, and in particular the younger generation. Now just think that younger generation is going to pass on some of those traits and tropes to their offspring, and their offspring in turn will eventually, who knows what the future has in line in terms of reproduction, but let's just assume that the offspring of the offspring reproduce, that what is in store for those in terms of entertainment and content. If in the year 2025 videos that are less than 3 minutes long are captivating millions and billions of people and got them hooked on an endless loop of just watching TikToks from morning until night. But ever since the article said TikTok got big in 2018, 2019, the author of this article tried to stay away from it, and he's probably a target audience for the app. But to me, there was always a weirdly sinister nature about consuming videos that were usually only about 10 seconds in length. I never knew I had a poor attention span already. No, I knew I had a poor attention span already, and I could tell even before all the studies were released that this kind of thing would only make it worse. But still, to this day, the individual has never downloaded TikTok, and neither have I. However, what real boils his blood or grinds his gears is not being able to escape short-form content, and it also grinds my gears. We are unable to avoid short-form content, and as I said, sort of TikTok has invaded and infected almost every single social media platform that is of popular usage in contemporary times. They are all clones of it, all pushing short form content as opposed to things that you may want to see from your friends or family or loved ones, or maybe groups of interest. But while the individual is scrolling through his YouTube phone page, shorts are in his face, checking his Instagram messages, brain rot reels. Even Reddit gives you the ability to scroll through videos once you click on one, though admittedly it's less in your face, and Spotify, an app based on audio, somehow managed to do it too. It's gotten to the point where I just want to delete social media and entertainment apps altogether. What is happening to this world? What is happening to this world indeed, and what is happening into this world indeed is dopamine dependency and short-term video addiction. So let's just click over to the news segment, and you can see a lot more of these articles from sort of January, September of this year. You can see they're all purple because I've clicked on an awful lot of these, and many of them are all sort of very, very similar. But basically what they're doing is sort of putting various sort of groups of individuals in a variety of situations and seeing how short form video affects them under or within those scenarios. This one from Nature, coping models, I think we've already clicked on this one. Frontiers, influencing factors of short-term video addiction among Chinese university. I think we've already clicked on that. There's one we've seen from SciPost, one from The Argument. I could watch TikTok for 10 hours a day, and that's actually a story from an individual that is quite interesting, but I don't think I will add it to this presentation as they do sort of kind of get a little bit long. From July the 11th there, has information, short video addiction associated with the Financial Express from 3 days ago.
Hello everyone. Let's start off by imagining someone named Alex. Alex has big dreams and aspirations. He wants to succeed in his career, his relationships, his health, and his personal goals, but like most of us, Alex spends about half of his waking hours doom scrolling through TikTok and Instagram Reels. He's glued to his screen consuming content, and days go by where he doesn't even remember what he watched an hour ago, let alone the day before. He constantly compares himself with others, trying to keep up with the latest trends and lifestyles he sees online. He feels anxious and inadequate, and his mental health suffers as a result. He wishes he could do more with his time, yet it feels like his world has shrunk down to the size of the phone in his hand. Alex knows he's stuck, but breaking free seems pretty much impossible at that point. Hi guys, I'm Alex. Or I was, but like I said, it's all quite a blur. But I think we can all agree that most of us see some parts of ourselves in Alex. We often associate stereotypes with race, culture, or even gender. But today, we're dealing with a more subtle, yet pervasive form, a cognitive stereotype. Our thoughts, actions, and even aspirations are being shaped by the constant barrage of short-form content that we consume. Millions of people around the world are watching their lives slip away as they drown in this flood of bite-sized distractions. The average human attention span has significantly decreased from 12 seconds in 2000 to just 8 seconds today, which is now shorter than that of a goldfish. I mean, that's crazy. I remember that phrase, "you have the attention span of a goldfish," being thrown around all the time. That seems like a compliment now, considering the fact that we're worse off than they are. And it really makes you think about how our digital habits are reshaping our minds. So the question we have to ask ourselves is this: are we really living, or are we watching our lives pass us by, one short at a time? Ladies and gentlemen, with the dawn of artificial intelligence, we're entering the golden age of human development. Many of us are eager to embrace the possibilities it brings. Unparalleled technological advancements and economic growth that could transform our lives. With that, there's a desire to develop the skills that would help us thrive. Thriving in this era means sharpening our ability to think critically, solve problems, learn and adapt continuously, and embody empathy and resilience. This is the moment for us to harness our potential, not just to keep up with the future, but to actually shape it. Now, the catch here is that as we race forward with these incredible advancements, we're seeing a decline in our cognitive abilities. The very tools that should be making us smarter are in some ways dulling our capacity to think. Why? Because we're drowning in a sea of short-form content, constantly consuming bite-sized information at a surface level, which hinders our ability to reflect, engage, and adapt to complex ideas. If we truly want to thrive in this era, we have to rethink our consumption habits. We need to take back control of our minds, reclaim our attention spans, and reignite our capacity for deep, meaningful thought. That's the challenge we face today, and it's one we cannot afford to ignore. So, when you get selected for a TED Talk like this, you're sent a speaker guide. Within the speaker guide are a few tips on how to deliver a memorable TED Talk. So, TED recommends you keep your talk to around 18 minutes or so, which they say is the sweet spot. But the irony here is that I can't remember the last time I sat down and watched an 18-minute TED Talk from start to finish. Honestly, it must have been years ago. And it really got me thinking about how our consumption habits have evolved over the years, and specifically with how we engage with content online. I remember a time when watching YouTube was a completely different experience altogether. As a young teenager, I'd come home from school, spend time with my family, and unwind by watching 15 to 20-minute vlogs from my favorite creators. Simple, authentic videos where creators would just document their lives. There were no crazy, flashy editing tricks that would grab and keep our attention. Instead, it was easy to focus. Now, even while preparing for this TED Talk, I found myself skimming through even the best TED Talks. I found myself even skimming through some of the best TED Talks just because my attention span has been so thoroughly wrecked. And I don't think it's just about how we as a society are consuming information. It's about how we, as collective individuals, are consuming information on a daily basis. Every minute, we're bombarded with more information that our ancestors would have encountered in a lifetime. A study conducted by the University of California, San Diego found that the average American consumes about 34 gigabytes of data and information every day. That's about as much data as absorbing 68 years worth of newspapers every single day. Our brains, however, aren't equipped to handle this massive influx of information. Evolutionarily, we're designed to focus on specific tasks and process information at a pace that allows us to truly reflect and understand. But today, we're expected to react to, process, and discard information at lightning speeds. This has become our modern obligation. It's the fear of missing out. It's FOMO. This constant bombardment doesn't just overwhelm our mental faculties, it fundamentally alters the way we think, damaging our ability to reflect and focus. And this impact is more than just a feeling. Instead, it's backed by data. A study published in Nature Communications highlights just how much this influx is impacting us. Researchers found that our attention spans are shrinking significantly. They analyzed data from platforms such as Twitter, Google Books, and even scientific publications. In 2013, a top Twitter hashtag would remain in the top 50 for about 17.5 hours. Fast forward to 2016, and that number has decreased to just 11.9. This trend isn't just limited to social media, it's happening across all kinds of different content. Books, movies, and even scientific publications. It's simple. The more information we take in, the less time we have to focus on any single one of those pieces of information. When we're flooded with data, we cope by skimming through it. We start to prioritize quantity over quality, speed over depth. Instead of absorbing meaningful ideas, we graze through snippets, headlines, and short clips. And as a result, we end up sacrificing substance. We end up losing the ability to fully understand and critically analyze anything. This is the paradox of our time. While we have more access to knowledge than ever before, our ability to truly engage with that knowledge is slowly deteriorating. We're past consuming information. We're at that point where it consumes us. I want everybody to just think about the last time they were waiting in line or in an elevator. Chances are you pulled out your phone and started scrolling through social media just to kill those few minutes of waiting time. It's become our go-to response to avoid boredom, but what if we let ourselves get bored? Some of the greatest ideas in history were born out of boredom. J.K. Rowling came up with the entire concept of Harry Potter on a long, uneventful train ride. Isaac Newton was sitting under an apple tree when the apple fell, leading him to ponder the force of gravity. Beethoven composed some of his greatest symphonies during long walks in nature. All of these innovations might have never come to life if we hadn't allowed ourselves the space to be bored. Boredom is more than just a void to be filled. It's a catalyst for creativity. When we aren't being constantly bombarded by short-form content, our brains can wander, our minds can wander. We can come up with new connections and spark new ideas. But today we've lost that space. We fill every moment with some sort of stimulus, and it's killing our ability to think and create. These moments of boredom are like mental resets. They allow us to reflect, to think, and to come up with solutions which we might miss otherwise if we're distracted. So I just want to preface that I'm no exception to any of this. I was just as much of a social media consumer as the next guy. So when I say we, I really do mean we. But I want to say that short form content destroyed my focus, presence, and ability to engage with the world around me. During lockdown, I was in the worst shape of my life, both physically and mentally. My days would be spent playing video games and scrolling TikTok, and when university started, I realized how much damage I had done to myself. I couldn't focus for more than 3 minutes without itching to check my phone or reply to someone on WhatsApp, just because my attention span has been so thoroughly wrecked. Through self-help books, podcasts, and a lot of YouTube videos, I saw a way out. Even some of my best friends were going through the same set of difficulties, but we never brought it up because that was our new normal. Over time, I regained control, sharpened my focus, and eventually started to enjoy my life again. My dad, he always used to say, learn, unlearn, and relearn. I always understood what that meant at a surface level, but only recently did I realize how deeply that applies here. The negative behaviors we establish as a result of excessive short-form content consumption are all learned behaviors. The good news is that they can be unlearned too. Our brains have a remarkable ability to adapt and change, known as neuroplasticity. This means that we can undo the damage, rewire our brains to focus, and break free from instant gratification. So, what can we do to get our lives back? The number of hacks or tricks I could tell you to help reduce your short-form content addiction are endless. Sure, you could set app timers, turn off notifications, or even watch a David Goggins video where he's yelling at you, telling you how worthless you are while he climbs a mountain in a spacesuit. I mean, they all work to some degree, but let me share what really worked for me. A lot of us don't fully want to delete social media. A lot of us want to stay connected with our friends and family. Some of us don't have a choice. I mean, if it wasn't for Instagram, I wouldn't be here today. So, what can we all do? Log out. Extremely simple, maybe even a little anticlimactic, but it works. Do it, just log out. This works because it creates a little bit of friction to the process of using social media. Our short-form content consumption habits are born out of convenience. Think about it. It's so easy to open TikTok and start scrolling. As soon as you open the app, a video automatically starts playing and you start mindlessly scrolling. But when you add a little bit of friction, when you add a little bit of inconvenience to this process, you start to think twice about mindlessly scrolling. You want to check your DMs? Log in. Curious about how your best friend's trip's going? Log in. Want to see if you look good in the latest Instagram reel posted by TEDx? Log in. But after all that, log out. The key is to make the default state on these platforms logged out. As author of Atomic Habits, James Clear says, sometimes success is less about making the good habits easy and more about making the bad habits difficult. The second and final thing I want to touch on is reading. Beyond all the knowledge and wisdom one gains from reading, it's one of the best ways to build your attention span. Unlike the quick hits of short-form social media content, reading requires focus, allowing you to truly engage with important ideas. Read whatever you can get your hands on. Read fiction, read nonfiction, read the classics, but just read anything. So the fact that we've already made it to the end of this presentation without any Subway Surfers gameplay playing in the background is already a step in the right direction. This isn't just about surviving the digital age. It's about reclaiming our ability to truly live. Our future and the future of our children depends on our capacity to think critically, solve problems, and connect meaningfully with others. We cannot afford to lose these abilities to the infinite scroll. We can't. As René Descartes says, I think, therefore I am. If we allow ourselves to consume the same shallow content as everyone else, we risk losing the uniqueness of our thoughts and the depth of our humanity. However, we have the power to break the cycle. By consciously choosing what we consume and how we spend our time, we can reclaim our individuality. The first step towards a brighter future starts with a single, deliberate choice to focus on what truly matters. So, let's choose to live intentionally, to be present, and to engage fully. Our lives are worth a hell of a lot more than the fleeting satisfaction of a momentary scroll. So, let's make them count. Thank you.
Okie dokie. I'm including this article from financialexpress.com, more from my own obsessive compulsions rather than for providing extensive information. But this article actually came out like only 3 days ago, which is why I sort of felt a little bit obligated and compelled to include it in this presentation on digital dependency. It does very much read from the same script that we have been hearing in previous articles and stuff, but as I said, it's relatively recent, so I wanted to sort of include it for that reason alone, as well as appeasing my obsessive compulsions. But a new study reveals how constant exposure to short form videos may trigger brain rot and harm mental well-being. Now, apologies, there is a very intrusive red marker thing on the side of the screen there that I can't seem to get rid of, and I'm not sure if or not we saw that image previously, but short form content is everywhere, and everything has become content, from getting ready to go out or simply doing your job. Every snippet of your life can be surmised in 30 seconds on social media. With a plethora of information available in bite-sized content, the debate about reducing attention spans has progressed into cognitive decline. A September 2025 meta-analysis published in the American Psychological Association's APA bulletin aimed to find the impact the same. As brain rot became Oxford University's word of the year in 2024, the term was popularized by Gen Z to describe mental fog and cognitive decline as a result of doom scrolling. In fact, as per a neuroimage research study on the effects of short video addiction, it was found that it can actually order your brain from reducing your sensitivity to real life consequences. It can lower your loss aversion to slowing down the process of information. These were some of the effects of doom scrolling addiction found by a behavioral analyst and brain imaging. Poor cognition, poor mental health. This was published in the National Library of Medicine in September of 2025. And they found that nearly 1 LAKH participant across 71 studies indicated overall negative effects of prolonged short-form video consumption. In fact, increased short-form video use was associated with poor cognition, with all attention and inability to control yielding the strongest associations. And furthermore, there was a strong correlation found between the content consumption and declining mental health and stress. While there has been no direct causation linking the phenomenon, the strong correlation does point towards a possible link. In a study published in the BBC Science Focus magazine, a neuroscientist found that those who sought pleasure and depended on short-form videos had a genuine difference in grey matter. They were found to have higher levels of envy too. However, it must be noted that this exists as a cultural phenomenon nearly 2 decades ago, when the Atlantic magazine ran a cover that asked, "Is Google making us stupid?" Increments, folks, increments. We've got from asking Google things and maybe spending an hour or two reading articles or watching more informative, constructive videos. We've reduced ourselves to watching brain rot, as we are establishing in this presentation. But how reels changed the brain. Speaking to financialexpress.com, a psychiatrist of a name I'm not going to dare attempt to pronounce, but he is a psychiatrist, and he shared that reels work on the popular instant gratification theory. That the mental health expert shared that short form content shapes the mind, attention, and the emotional health. While he doesn't blame technology, he explores what reels can do to a human brain. Every swipe brings something new, he said. And he added, some studies have even compared this dopamine pattern to phasic release, which is what happens in addictions. He clarified that being dependent on reels or short-form content as a means of unwinding leads to the brain adapting to a high-speed, high-stimulation environment. He echoed the findings from a September 2025 report and shared that there is a significant difference in brain areas which control decisions and impulses between dependent and occasional consumers of short videos. People become more impulsive, more restless, and more drawn towards instant pleasure rather than long-term goals. Some studies even show changes in attention and memory because the brain is constantly switching focus every few seconds. While watching these videos, the doctor explained that he also warned of the silent victim, the sleep cycle, which often suffers due to late-night scrolling. This has often been known to affect memory, mood, and concentration the next day, creating a cycle that is extremely hard to break. There is good news. You can stop the brain rot because the human brain is flexible, and a psychiatrist shared that it relies heavily on fixing patterns and behaviors which don't really require quitting reels. He explained how to protect your mind from brain rot, where short form content exists in all spheres of our life. Creating small boundaries, I'm not going to read all of these, replacing screen time, emotional awareness are some of the things you can do to avoid becoming addicted or further addicted to short form videos. So as I said, I did want to just include that one because it was very recent. We're going to go and have a little look at meme addiction next, but don't worry folks, we are getting near to the end and very close to wrapping things up. But what I do try to do is provide rather a anti short form video, and hopefully by paying attention to the very end you would have done your brain some good, or probably not. You might want to speak to a medical health expert to get a more professional diagnosis on that. But as I said, I'm trying to sort of combat short form videos by making longer, more informative content within the best of my capabilities, is what I was trying to say. So let's go and see what meme addiction's all about. Okay guys, this article comes from Psychology Today, although not actually today. It came from July the 2nd of 2020, and it is from someone called Patricia Frigitel. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hopefully she will forgive me if I'm not. But memes, why are you sharing that meme? Political memes are often created to divide us, and is that what you really want? So her Facebook page, like my Facebook page, is full of political memes, not just political memes, memes in general. And memes are usually images or texts, text, or videos, short form videos with succinct messages that often aim to show the blindness of those with whom we disagree and to highlight our own wisdom. They are cheeky, ironic, pointed rooted and divisive. People like them because they can take complicated issues and distill them into a quick sentence or two tied to an eye-catching image. Problem is, no issue we face today, and in 2025, just like back in 2020, we are facing mind-numbing chaos, and none of this mind-numbing chaos can really be simplified into any meaningful way, and you cannot inform anybody about mind-numbing chaos in a sentence or two alongside a photograph of Kermit the Frog. But worse, our use of political memes exasperates the divides in this country. We don't post them to encourage discussion or to help bring us together. We often post them out of our worst instincts, arrogance, anger, and spite. Memes are seductive. They lure us with their slick and often caustic humor. Right now, back in 2020, this article is referring to as now we were all in a mix of frustration, anger, fear, and anxiety. And memes have let us blow off some steam quickly and easily. Sadly, we often blow that right into somebody else's face, and that is no way to build a community or to save a country. Discussing difficult issues takes time, preparation, education, thought, and willingness to listen. If you are still listening at this late point in the video, you are displaying an incredible eagerness and willingness to listen and to learn. So congratulations to those of you who are still watching. But memes don't require any of that, yet sharing them we can pretend to be part of the discussion. Many political memes are in fact created by bots, and many are connected to sites that pull you deeper and deeper into divisive messages, making them dangerous on moldy levels, encouraging you into political positions you might once have considered appalling. Memes make it all look so very smart and very fun. But how can you be a responsible user of political memes? Well, my advice would be just don't use memes, don't share memes, unless you have gone to the trouble of creating the meme yourself to spread a message that you wish to share, not the message that whoever paid the AI bot to create the meme wants to share, and for the purpose of aggravating others on your news feeds. But avoid memes that call other people names, and the article's author is especially tired of the use of stupid in memes. On the left and on the right, the phrase "a special kind of stupid" is a popular way of putting a person in their place. Except for it really doesn't. Calling somebody stupid makes them want to shut you out and off, and they don't want to listen to anything that you may have to say. You've labeled them stupid, and now they can label you intolerant and rude. And what has been gained? Nothing at all. Another tiresome, non-productive phrase, "I'm educated enough to know," is followed usually by an apparently not. Consider why you want to post a particular meme or short form video. What is your goal? Do you want to ding your former boss with a nice little box of sarcasm? And why? What does it accomplish? Do you really think that posting something that shows how misguided an individual is will make that individual stop and say, "Oh, hey, you're right. I've been totally wrong about everything all this time. Thank you so much for that meme or short form video. It's really brought me back to reality." Let me know if that has ever happened to you as a result of sharing a meme or a short form video. Well, that's not going to happen. So let's be honest to ourselves and be honest about our motives as to why we post and share biting memes or short form videos, and why it is a good way to tick people off and make yourself feel better for a minute. You may feel as though you found your tribe in a meme or through a short form video, but if your tribe is only about dividing, you'll only be helping us move farther and farther into intolerance and into a place where discussion is not even possible. Double check for accuracy. Political memes can misquote, pull things out of context, or flat out lie. In fact, all memes can do that. So be very careful about sharing false information. You know, if you happen to come across a meme on your timeline that you feel like sharing, and it is sort of seems to be including some information, why don't you go and look that information up first and see if you can find something a little bit more substantial than just a meme to support the information that you wish to share. So do a bit of fact checking and really don't share memes, share information. Do your own research, start looking stuff up, stop relying on memes and short form videos to tell you how to think, how to feel, and to elevate you above those of you who you think are not above you because they do not share the same beliefs or don't happen to share the same memes or short form videos as you do. So do a little bit of fact checking. I'll go quickly through that, and that's about it. I'm not going to read all of the bits about fact checking. You can work that out for yourself, but some insight on social medias to trust. You can go to the media bias chart from AdFronts Media. Aren't we all getting extremely tired of having to avoid family and friends because we do not share their political positions or personal beliefs? Maybe we should instead avoid emotionally satisfying but divisive toils like political memes, and maybe we should just all start being a little excellent to each other. So that was one little article that I wanted to finish up with. There is another little short video, providing it gets past YouTube copyright requirements, and then I will be bringing you the final thoughts of the day.
How short-form content is changing our brains, our focus, and our attention spans. But how did we get here? Why do we find it so hard to just sit still without reaching for our phones? Why do we always feel the need to be watching, listening, or doing something? What's really going on? In recent years, we've seen a massive rise in short-form content. Those quick, bite-sized videos that dominate platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. These videos are designed to be engaging and addictive, providing rapid bursts of entertainment, information, or humor, all in 30 seconds or less. But while they're fun and easy to consume, they're also having a profound impact on our brains. The impact on attention span. One of the biggest changes we're seeing is in our attention span. As we consume more short content, our brains adapt to this quick, constant stimulation. We get used to the rapid dopamine hits that come with each new video, making it harder to focus on longer tasks, like watching a full-length movie or even reading a book. Our brains start to expect instant gratification, and anything requiring sustained attention begins to feel less satisfying or even boring. The myth of dopamine. It's often said that we crave this constant stimulation because we're hooked on dopamine, the so-called pleasure chemical. But the reality is more complex. Dopamine isn't about the pleasure itself. It's about anticipation, the chase, the motivation to try again. This explains why short-form content is so compelling. It keeps us in a loop of expectation and reward, pushing us to consume more and more. The struggle with long-form content. As a result, many of us now struggle with long-form content. Sitting through a full movie without checking our phones isn't just about impatience. It's a sign of how our brains are being rewired. Long-form content takes time to develop characters, build a story, or set a mood. But after consuming so much short content, our brains crave constant stimulation, making it tough to stay engaged with anything that requires more time and focus. Cognitive and behavioral changes. This shift towards short-form content also affects our ability to engage in deep focus, often called the flow state. When we're constantly switching between videos, social media, and other quick-hit content, our brains become accustomed to frequent interruptions. This makes it harder to immerse ourselves in activities requiring undivided attention, whether it's work, study, or even just having a meaningful conversation with a friend. Over time, this can lead to a more distracted, fragmented way of thinking, where maintaining focus on a single task, or even on someone else's words, becomes increasingly challenging. Memory, comprehension, and information overload. Another impact is on how we process and retain information. Short-form content encourages shallow processing, quickly taking in information that's just as quickly forgotten. This contrasts with the deep processing needed for understanding complex stories or concepts. Additionally, in our information-overloaded world, our attention spans shrink as we try to cram everything in, making it even harder to focus on and remember details from longer content. Anxiety, restlessness, and the broken promise of technology. There's also a psychological aspect to consider. The constant consumption of short content can lead to restlessness or even anxiety when we're not being stimulated at the same pace. This restlessness makes it challenging to relax and fully engage with slower, more immersive experiences. We thought technology would lighten our load and free up our time, but instead, it's replaced it with a new kind of exhaustion, spiritual exhaustion. It was supposed to bring us closer together and eliminate ignorance, but now there's more confusion and division than ever. Social and behavioral impacts. Lastly, there's the social aspect. Short-form content often taps into our fear of missing out, FOMO, and our need to stay updated. This drives us to keep checking our phones, making it a hard habit to break. Over time, this behavior becomes ingrained, making it even more difficult to focus on a single activity without distraction. The path forward. So, what can we do about it? The first step is awareness, understanding how short-form content is affecting our brains. We can then start to take steps to counteract these effects, like setting aside specific times to disconnect from short content, practicing mindfulness, and gradually retraining our brains to enjoy longer, more immersive forms of entertainment. For instance, the next time you have a conversation with a good friend, try leaving your phone aside and fully engaging in the conversation. Listen attentively to what your friend has to say without the distraction of notifications or the urge to check your screen. These small but intentional actions can help us reclaim our focus and deepen our connections with others. Change happens slowly, and while we can't change the entire system overnight, we can change how we navigate within it. True happiness isn't found in fleeting moments of pleasure. It might help to redefine what makes us genuinely, deeply happy, and maybe find joy in the journey itself. Changing our habits in a world designed to keep us hooked is monumentally difficult, but every day is a new opportunity to try again.
So that's about it, folks. Hopefully you have found this evening's presentation on digital dependency at least a little bit informative, and if you're not, you found it entertaining, that is on you. I'm pretty sure there's much better ways to entertain yourself out there, non-digitally or even digitally, that doesn't involve yourself indulging in the consumption of short form videos. Now, although as we've discovered in this evening's presentation, as of yet these syndromes or symptoms are not actually recognized as official addictions, but they do carry the symptoms that are very, very similar, if not identical, to the addictions of substances. And many, 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 many young people who the majority of this short form content is targeted are completely absorbed and are under the influence of its power. Now, as I've mentioned before, is this an accidental, or is this a very deliberate, unilateral, targeted attack on the minds of humanity, or is it harmless side effects that were unforeseen when this format of short form videos and memetics first took hold on social media formats and platforms? And you have to sort of bear in mind that, you know, a lot of these sort of video production, short form videos, TikTok, memetics, they all are sort of controlled or owned by either, nefarious organizations or draconian dictatorships. And they always seem to have their fingers in sort of things that otherwise might come across as seemingly harmless fun. And as I've said before, these things are not meant to be harmless. They are meant to harm us. And the damage that these short form videos and elongated elongated amounts of time spent on platforms such as TikTok and Instagram watching short form videos is slowly and surely killing the brain cells of the masses who consume them. And the biggest consumers of short form content are pretty much teenagers, or the 20 to 30 somethings and below. I think if you're a little bit older and been on this planet a few more years than the younger generations, then maybe sort of short form content is not exactly something that you would rush or go out of your way to watch or entertain. But unfortunately, we cannot get away with it. We did hear in an article in this video that it doesn't matter if you choose to see fewer shorts on YouTube or fewer reels on Facebook, you end up seeing reels and shorts. And if they're not things that have been suggested to you, they are videos or memes that have been shared by others that have made their way purposely so onto your news feed. And a lot of these videos and memes that get shared multiple times are provided as suggested content. You may get it on Facebook, follow such and such, and it'd be a TikTok video, follow such and such, and it's somebody sharing a meme. It's very hard, or very rare I should say, in this day and age for individuals to sort of step outside of the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Twitches, the YouTubes, the TikToks, and sort of go on to platforms like Google, and here I am trying to encourage people to go onto Google and use it to do research. We heard about how 10 or 20 years ago we were worried that Google was going to make us dumb. 20 years later, how fucking dumb have we become that we are sitting and absorbing nonsensical shit content that is designed purposely to rot our brains and to provide us with symptoms of addictions that will require us to want more and more and more and more and more. But they haven't been recognized as yet as official addictions, but many of those surveys, many of that research, many of those studies that we looked into in this presentation are going to be put before their peers, and if or not they are considered worthy enough and they are relevant enough to be considered as such, they will then be put into the process of becoming recognized addictions. So be very, very cautious as to what you are consuming online. Be very, very cautious as to what you are sharing online, because as we found out, these sort of memes and these short form videos aren't really designed to be informing anyone. They are designed to keep you engaged, and more often than not, they are designed to create a greater diversive divide between society. And now more than ever, I think we need to start being a little bit more community based and considering our neighbors, and maybe not getting so upset if people don't have the same belief system as us, or being antagonized that somebody may have the audacity to vote for a political party that you don't vote for. If people choose to eat meat, if they choose to eat plant-based garbage, that is entirely up to them. People at the moment still are allowed to believe in whatever it is they want to believe in. We're free to believe in our dreams. We're free to believe in our faiths. We're free to believe in a better tomorrow. But there aren't very many better tomorrows involved or lined up down the roads as far as technology is concerned. And technology has already been rampant for well over a decade, and has already caused people to have mental health issues, social behavioral issues, as well as dependency issues, and they're only making it more and more and more and more addictive, more and more consuming, in order to keep us engaged in on our screens as long as we possibly can. And none of this information, as I said, is designed to inform anyone. It is just designed to keep you engaged, and you will only ever sort of find content on your feeds that speaks specifically to you, be be it for or against whatever your personal stance in life it is. And it doesn't matter if you are Christian, if you are Muslim, if you are Hindu, if you are Jew. It doesn't matter if you're red, it doesn't matter if you are blue. This affects each and every one of us, and it is targeted against each and every one of us. It doesn't matter who you vote for, what God you pray to. It doesn't give a shit about any of this. It doesn't care about race or age, although it does like to suckle upon the minds of the young more than the old. But the older folks in this life have already sort of served our purpose and played our part in the grand scale of things. It is the younger generations that this is targeted for, and what is more disturbing is what the generation this is targeting are going to produce when they come to the time of having offspring, and then the offspring of the offspring. Goodness only knows what the world is going to be like when they get round to adulthood. But hopefully by then you and me will no longer be here, although maybe we will do, in the form of a digital entity that we can upload into a computer or device, or even into an articulated robot if we so choose, because that is where technology is heading. But memes and short form videos, folks, they are not designed to entertain us. They are not designed for our humorous purposes. They are designed, as I said, to damage the minds of anybody who consumes them for great lengths of time, causing the more damage, the more longer that you stay attached to these. So make a conscious effort as to what you're watching. Make a conscious effort as to what you're sharing, and make a conscious effort to be creative. It doesn't matter what that creativity is, as long as it is not attached to your device. It should be all good, as long as it doesn't harm anybody or any other living beings, be it writing some poetry, writing songs. If you are someone who can play a musical instrument, take some time to go and play your instrument. If you're someone that enjoys to do some knitting or sewing, go away and do some knitting and sewing to keep your hands and fingers busy. If you like to bake, do some baking. If you like to do a bit of gardening, go and prune a bush or two. If you have pets and animals, why not give them a little bit of a longer walk and leave your device at home when you do so. Spend as much time as you can each and every day away from your device, and try to restrict it. Certain content in formatted platforms to special occasions, or maybe weekends, or only certain times of the day, and try and educate yourself a little bit more by finding out news for yourself and not relying on what you have been provided with in the form of short videos. So that is it from me, folks, in this particular episode. Heads up, I will be providing you some unseen bonus footage if you stick around to once the dancing girl has finished strutting her stuff. There is some extra RD for those of you who want to stick around and hang out a little bit longer if you are watching the live premiere, or if you have watched this video in its entirety at another time and sort of feel like you want a little bit more of RD, then stick around or skip past the dancing girl. But all it remains for me to be said in this segment is for everybody to make sure to take care of yourselves, to be excellent to one another, and let's hope that the force can be with us all. Until next time, this is Ardy signing out. For now. What is up, folks? It is RD here, once again bringing you some unwatchable content in a video that nobody is gonna watch, and it is gonna be a particularly shorter than short video, but not short enough to possibly qualify as a short. Now we are starting out straight away off the bat at my Google Tabs bar, although one of my Google Tab bars, I actually do have two devices, and we can see here at the top I have sort of 4 tabs open. 31 Atlas, cloned meat. Why do, I believe that is, why do people point at things in videos, and Canadian-made references, Canadian-made medical assistance in deaf search that I was looking up some stuff. But I want to show you something a little bit interesting now. At the time of recording, it's probably about an hour or so since I just finished my live stream, or actually it wasn't a live stream, it was a live premiere. Atlas approaching hoax encounters of the false kind, and I was doing a little bit of research and looking up 31 Atlas, and here you can see at the Google search bar, you can see 31 Atlas. Sorry, I keep calling it 31, it's 3i Atlas, but there you can see in the search bar 3i Atlas, and we are at the all section of the search results. Now let me just show you what happens when I click on news. About this page, our systems have detected unusual traffic from your computer network. This page checks to see if it's really you sending the request and not a robot. Why did this happen? So there you go, there is a bar there for me to click to show I am not a robot. Now let me just click out of this one, open up the tabs again, and let's go to cloned meat, where again you can see we are at the all section of the search, and you can see in the search engine, the search bar above, cloned meat. Once again, if I click on news, about this page, our systems have detected unusual traffic from your computer network, and this page checks to see if it is really you sending the requests. And I can assure you, if we come down to this one here, a Canadian-made assistance, and we can see there the news segment is highlighted this time. So let's see what happens if we click on all. And there you go, no surprise, 3 out of 3 jackpot if you were at the slots in Vegas. I am not a robot prompt, and once again we have detected unusual traffic from your computer network, not my phone, my computer network. Now it's pointless me going and clicking on the other one, but let's do it just the same, and it pops up straight away. It doesn't even let us open the page that we were previously looking at. Now this is something that is sort of very, very new to me when using Google. When I say new, I don't think I have ever experienced this before previously when researching topics and using Google as well as other sort of search engines to do my research and find articles and stories and videos and stuff that ends up becoming part of the content of my unwatchable videos. And is this a new addition to Google? Is it some sort of safeguard to sort of prove that I am not in fact an AI intelligence up to nefarious doings on the Google website? Or is this because I have been using Google to research things that may be considered of a sensitive subject? Now, I don't think I've spoken about anything recently in the last sort of few weeks that I have taken it upon myself to start uploading videos again, but in the last sort of 3 or 4 days I have been doing an excessive amount of searching and looking up stuff, and have a whole bunch of various tabs open on 2 phones, although there are only 5 open on this one. On my other one, my main phone that I use for the majority of my YouTubing purposes, I've got something like 84 open, and that's on a casual day. At one point there were over 200 tabs within tabs, you know how that works. But this is something new. I don't know if any of you viewers that are paying attention and have chosen to watch RD on this particular occasion have experienced anything like this previously. Let's see what happens if we click back. And there you go. Why do content creators do nothing? There you go. That was an interesting search that I was looking up for some sort of reason, and maybe you sort of may have noticed that there is a particularly growing trend of sort of videos where the creator sort of does nothing, just sort of watches somebody else's creations and sort of either nods their heads or makes sort of sultry or sympathetic facial expressions, or more than likely we'll be pointing at stuff. So let's see what happens if we can click on all, and again I am being blocked. So Google is preventing me at the moment from using its services until I prove that I am not a robot. But let's just click on the why did it do this. And unfortunately I do have glasses, although even with my glasses this is even pretty tiny to read. You know what they say about small print. But about this page, our systems have detected unusual traffic, as we already know, and this page appears when Google automatically detects requests coming from your computer network which appear to be in a violation of the terms of service. The block will expire shortly after those requests stop. In the meantime, solving the above captcha will let you continue to use our services. This traffic may have been sent by malicious software, a browser plugin, or a script that sends automated requests. If you share your network connection, ask your administrator for help. A different computer using the same IP address may be responsible. There you go. So I don't have a computer that is using this particular IP address, but I do have a laptop and another phone that is connected to the same Wi-Fi network. So if not, that is what that is referring to. Who knows? So let's click on it there. Oh, look at there, traffic lights. And hopefully that will verify. There you go. That was all it took to please Google's oppressors that I wasn't a robot. And there you go. But that was it, folks. Nothing more to see here, and you can see there the AI overview. Content creators use pointing gestures because it is an effective non-verbal communication strategy to capture viewer attention. You know, why bother talking and having a conversation with your viewers when you can just sit there and do nothing and point? It adds emphasis, guides the audience gaze to specific visual elements like overlaid text or products. And that is about all we're going to read for that, but that might feature in a future video nobody's going to watch in the not too distant days ahead. So that was it. As I was saying, guys, I just wanted to sort of point out that Google had been blocking me from using its services because I had been using its services to search for things, and apparently that is a violation of terms and conditions. So if you have experienced this yourself, let me know in the comments below, so that I feel as though I'm not alone, although I imagine it's very unlikely that I am, but that is why I'm asking for you to inform me of any experiences you have had of a similar nature. But that is it, folks. Until next time, as always, be excellent to each other. May the force be with us, and until next time, take care. RD is signing out for now.
Ubu, sit. Good dog.
Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes!
Hey, Luke. May the force be with you.
All right. Take care now. Bye-bye then.